What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to AFK Kerapac normal mode. This method gets about 2-minute kills and it is basically zero input. The only thing you have to do is loot the kills and then get back in range to have Kerapac respawn. But other than that, it's pretty much fully AFK. You could even just let the loot rot on the floor and it would be fully AFK. So hopefully you guys use this method to get some easy Kerapac kills. So before I get into the preset, I'm just going to explain how this works a little bit. So you can see on screen here, I am basically phasing Kerapac right as he does his slam attack or sooner. And basically what this does is makes it so his melee slam attack doesn't do any damage, or maybe it hits you like one time. And that's about it. So that's basically how this works. We're just doing so much damage that we're phasing him before he even does the melee slam. And yeah, it's pretty quick kills. It gets somewhere around like 1:40 to 1:55 seconds, depending on your gear. So moving on to the preset, you can see this is what I use on screen here. I don't really know how much you could downgrade from what you see. The only real downgrade I think you could make would be the tier 90 weapons. Other than that, all of the things you see are pretty much required. The relics, I find these relics are insanely good for this. We have such a hard time with adrenaline with Necromancy that these relics are just absolutely required. And persistent rage especially, you really do need this because you want to be building up to 100% just so you can summon and command the ghost at the start of a kill. But yeah, those relics are really good. The familiar is the Blood Reaver. We're obviously going to be spamming out poison damage with this setup, so the Blood Reaver is insanely good, especially when paired with the Cinderbanes. For the gear, I use the 4 pieces of the first Necromancer set, and I find this is probably pretty required. Maybe you could get away with the tier 90 set. I didn't really try it, but I would highly suggest just getting the 4 pieces of the first Necromancer set, because it extends the duration of the ghost mainly, and yeah, that's super convenient to have. The ghost doesn't really last that long, so extending it is pretty powerful. As for the weapons, you could use the tier 95 or the tier 90 weapons. Anything less than that is not going to work. Obviously, we're going to want Cinderbanes for the poison damage. You could use any ring you want, I guess. You're absolutely going to need the Zuck Cape and the Amulet of Souls, and then also the Vampirism Aura. The Vampirism Aura is insanely good with the Blood Reaver. It just spams out poison damage. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, you might be able to get away with a Jazz Book. I found the Jazz Book worked fine, but I think the Wen Book is better. Moving on to the inventory, what you see here is pretty much required. I guess you don't technically need the runes because you don't need to use Darkness, but I find Darkness makes it a little bit more AFK. But I find it also works without Darkness most of the time too, so yeah, you don't need those. But Powder of Penance fully sustains prayer for the most part, especially with Selves. And then, yeah, obviously we're also going to want like Worm Sticks. You don't actually need to use Selves, but if you're using the tier 99 prayer, I would highly suggest just using Selves. But yeah, if you're using the tier 95 prayer, you probably could get away with just normal Elder Overloads. And then, yeah, just weapon poison. And yeah, that's all we use for this setup. It's very simple. I wouldn't really suggest downgrading too much with this because I think you'll run into problems. But yeah, this setup here works pretty well. It gets somewhere around, you know, 1:40 to 2-minute kills, depending on how you're starting the kill, like where you're standing or whatever. But yeah, pretty quick kills for fully AFK. It's absolutely zero effort and it's pretty safe. I rarely run into problems with this setup. The perks are just the standard best in slot PVMing perks from the wiki. The only additional perk you might want to use if you're gonna like farm this, I guess, would be like Absorptive or Crystal Shield. If you just like have that on your tier 95 set or something like that, I would probably use that. It can definitely make it a little safer, especially at the end. But yeah. For this method, we are going to be using Darkness, Soul Split, the tier 95 prayer. You can also use the tier 99 prayer, but it does drain a little bit more prayer points. And then, yeah, we're pretty much just going to be using that and Soul Split. And also the Powder of Penance. So starting out the instance is pretty straightforward. All you're going to have to do is start your overload, apply your weapon poison, use Powder of Penance, and summon your Blood Reaver, and then you are also going to need to activate Vampirism as well as your book. I'll probably reset Vampirism here. So reset Vampirism, activate Vampirism, and activate your book. And that's all you need to do to start up the instance. And then you're also going to want to use Darkness as well, and turn on your prayer. And then you just start the instance, and we surge all the way forward twice. And we pretty much just stand here. You can stand all the way up against the edge. It doesn't really matter. You just want to stand anywhere from this circle here you could see, anywhere from there all the way to where Kerapac spawns. And then you're going to want to either manually loot or just let the loot sit on the floor and rot away. So I find with this setup, you get anywhere from 1:40 to 2-minute kills, which gets you somewhere from 25 to 30 kills per hour, depending on your gear. Getting 30 kills per hour is pretty unlikely, but I've gotten up to 28, so pretty solid kills per hour. You can see on screen here is the preset. Basically, all we're doing here is using the Ghost as well as some like basic attacks or whatever, and then the Skeleton Warrior. And this pretty much just, you know, spams out a ton of poison damage with the Reaver. And then pretty much any additional adrenaline you get gets put into trying to cast Living Death, which will help speed up your kills a little bit. But usually you won't be casting that unless you get like a Relentless or like pretty good RNG. But yeah, as you can see, we're very easily getting this kill and skipping the slam attacks. Yeah, very straightforward method. Gets pretty good kill times. Let me know what you guys think about this method, and yeah, I'll just let this kill finish out. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, be sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel. It really does help out. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or issues with this method, let me know in the comments below. I find this method is pretty safe when I do it, so if you're running into problems, you're probably just cutting out some gear somewhere that you have to be using. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one.